Hey everybody, this is Belligerent, and it's been requested for a long time. It's pretty much all my add-ons and how to set them up and what they do. I'll start off alphabetically with Afflicted 3 and end all the way down with X-Pearl. And yeah, here we go, starting with Afflicted 3. Alright, this is Afflicted 3. By default, it's in bar mode. There's damage, spells, buffs, cooldowns, interrupts, and defensive abilities. To enter the options, type /afflicted space UI. And what I like to do is go into the general tab, you can. This is where you show and hide the anchors. Once you're done, you can click the show timer anchors to make them go away, but you want them to be showing right now so you know what you're doing with them. But what I like to do is instead of having them as bars, is go into this anchor tab and push the little plus sign to bring down all the different options there, and then go into each one individually, and where it says display type, change it from bars into icon. Just for each one of these, just go from bars to icon. And this will make it so all of the bars are now just little icons for spells. This saves a lot of space on your screen, and you can just move them around, position them like I have them like this. I put 2 rows in 3 in each row, or columns. 2 columns, 3 in each column. Alright. And so this is where all the spells will show up once the players in the other team use them. Also, for Afflicted, a lot of spells are not enabled by default. So what you want to do is go into the spell tab, and for example, I'm pretty sure Scattershot, the hunter ability, is not default added, so you just type in Scattershot and just click it from the little menu there, and it'll add the spell, and you get to like choose where you want to put it and everything. For example, Scattershot, you can put it under just cooldowns, but once it's added in there, you can actually edit it. You can choose the duration, choose the cooldown. It's set to what it really is, which is a 30-second cooldown. This lets you know that hunters, have a scatter shot up. You can do this for tons of any spell in the game, pretty much. I'm pretty sure Psychic Scream, the Priest Sphere, is not default, so you want to add that in yourself. And I believe the cooldown of that is 27 seconds for a Discipline Priest and 24 seconds for a Shadow Priest. So the best thing to do is just set it as a 27-second cooldown, and it'll show up to the right here. But that's about it for Afflicted. It's pretty much all I use it for is enemy cooldowns. And I'll move on to the next add-on. Alright, the next add-on I'm going to cover is called Cooling. What it does is it shows your cooldowns below your character, or anywhere you want, actually. I just personally put them below my character, as you can see here, as the Battle Master's icon, the Divine Illumination, and Divine Shield. And it just shows that they're on cooldown, basically. To get into the options for this, you type /cooling space UI, and it gives you, this is all just a text-based add-on, so there's no graphical user interface or GUI like most add-ons have. It's a really simple add-on. And first of all, something you should do is set the maximum duration of spells to about 5 minutes, because you don't want to see something like Lay on Hands on there for 20 minutes. So to do that, you type /cooling space max space 300. 300 seconds is 5 minutes. And also you want to set the minimum duration, like cooling space min, to about 5 seconds. That'll make it so your global cooldown doesn't show up on there. That'd be pretty annoying if every single time you use the ability you had an extra spell pop up there. So yeah, basically you just type /cooling min 5 and /cooling max 300 to get the minimum duration set to 5 seconds and the maximum duration set to about 5 minutes. By default, cooling is in the bottom left part of the screen, and to move it, you're going to want to type /cooling space setup. It'll show all the icons and which ones will show up first. As you can see here, the number 1 is where the first spell shows up on cooldown. So when I have something on cooldown, that's where the first spell will go. And it'll go left. Like number 1 is on the bottom right, and then number 2 is on the left of it, and the second row is right above it. By default, I believe it's the opposite way, and it goes top left to bottom right. And after you type /cooling space setup, you can move around. You can move the spells around. You can move them individually if you drag the numbers individually like this. And if you drag just the number 1, it moves all of them. I believe this button's kind of stuck on there, so I'm gonna have to lock this and do that again. And you can just slide them all back in place wherever you want them. For example, if you want them over here, just slide the icons over here. If you want them like under your unit frame, you can move the icons up there. You can move them anywhere you want. But yeah, basically once you have them in place, just type /cooling space setup again, and it'll lock the icons in place. As you can see there's my Divine Favor, followed by Battle Masters, and there's Divine Plea. They go from right to left. Basically, cooling is gonna have a digital display like this, /cooling space digital. It shows that by default, but since I usually use Omni cooldown count or Omni CC, I usually turn off the display. So it's like that, and it has the Omni cooldown numbers on it instead. It's basically the same thing as the default, except if you have both of them on, you'll see double numbers on there, so I turn those off. But that's pretty much cooling. You can move it anywhere you want. You can make the icons as big as you want. For example, /cooling space setup, /cooling space scale, and a number between like 1 and 2. You can make the icons huge like this. Or you can just bring them back to normal. I believe I had it set to 1. No, I didn't. But anyways, you can scale them as big as you want. You can see how big this icon is here. And yeah, so that's pretty much cooling. And I'll move on to the next add-on now. Alright, this next add-on is just called Eavesdrop. It's this add-on that's right here in the bottom right corner. It's basically just a combat log. Every time you use a spell, it'll show up on there. Every time you get hit, it'll show the number on there. It's got a bunch of options to show different spells. You can show power gains, such as like when you gain like mana from Blessing of Wisdom. I believe it's by default that's off because I would pretty much spam it. But basically, I use it to show things like, you know, when I get crit, I want to see how hard something hit me. I can look at the cooling here. You can see like every single time you use a spell, it goes on there, and once you actually get past the window here, you can actually like scroll up and down to access the stuff that happened before. As you can see, you can scroll up and down. And to get back to the bottom instantly, you just shift and scroll down. You can make it so it shows who healed you, aka the healer ID here. And it's just a really neat add-on that's a lot easier to read than the combat log is, because it just shows the spell icons and the numbers. It's a lot more shiny. So that's pretty much all I use that add-on for. It's pretty simple. Next add-on is pretty much the most commonly used add-on any arena player has ever used, and it's called Gladius. Type /Gladius space UI, I believe, and it brings up the user interface. And you can type /Gladius space test 5, I believe. Okay, /Gladius space test. Yeah, test 5, and it shows up on wherever you have it locked. You can unlock it by clicking this lock frame button. You can move it anywhere you want. The way I have it set up is to show the trinket usage icon to the right, and to do that you click on trinket display, and under the options here you select big icon, and that'll put the icon to the right. There's a whole bunch of options like at the grid. You can put it right in the name, you can put it text-wise next to the name, and you can make it a small icon at the bottom right, and you can even make it override the class icon. But if you make it override the class icon, it'll make it so you can't see things like blind on the class icon. So I just leave it as big icon because it's the easiest one to see, really. And yeah, that's pretty much Gladius. You can resize it, make it as big as you want. But yeah, it's pretty much the add-on everybody needs, because you can click right on it and it'll select that target. You can even make it. You can even set it so, for example, if you left click, it'll use Hammer of Justice on that target, or if you right click, it'll judge that target. It's just really, really customizable, and just a pretty much need to have add-on. And that's pretty much it for Gladius. It just shows the other team. Alright, the next add-on I'm going to cover is called Omni CC. And what it does is it shows a digital number over your spells after use them. For example, here on Battle Masters, it shows 2M, that means 2 minutes. On Holy Shock, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's caused by Omni CC. You get into Omni CC, I think you just type Omni, yeah, / Omni CC, and it shows cooldown counts on everything, including on your if you're using Expert, it'll even show it on your target frame and your unit frame. It'll show the cooldowns on, or the durations of your spells. And it's pretty customizable. You can change the duration, like the minimum duration, it's set to 3 seconds. You can change the size. You can change when it flashes red, or even if it flashes or not after. And that's pretty much what Omni CC is for. It's just to let you know that your moves are on cooldown. It's easier to see than just a little shading on the spell, which is default. And if you see a little number on your spell, that means it's on cooldown. If you're ever looking at your action bar, just makes the game a little bit easier. But that's pretty much it for Omni cooldown count. Alright, the next add-on here is called Quartz. It's a casting bar add-on. As you can see, I have a gigantic casting bar, and that's because of Quartz. I've had the same type of casting bar since vanilla, really, in like 5 years now. And to get in the options, you just type /Quartz, and you toggle the bar lock. So it shows all the bars here. All these different. This is the player bar, and there's the focus, and there's the target one up here. And basically, to edit it, you just go to the tab. For example, for player, you just click on player. You can change the height. Mine's maxed out for height. It's like I like it to be like that right there, and that's just the way I've always had it. And you can change the width to make it pretty much your entire screen, as you can see. But I normally have mine just set to 250. And you can change the scale to make it gigantic also. And you can change skins to have a different background while you're casting. You do that by scrolling down, I believe, and choosing the texture. There's all these different options for